Hello folks, today I'm gonna show you how to do spore modeling. First I'm gonna show you basic fundamental stuff of modeling a tank. And you can see I'm now putting the cubes together. And I do not use very complex parts in Spore. I just use the very basic parts like the cubes, cylinders, cones, orbs, and all kinds of those very basic stuff. It's pretty much like modeling in 3ds Max and Maya, but it's different. It's easier to do, and but it has its limitations. Like here, I'm doing the upper glacis and lower glacis of a tank, and the armor is angled, so you can see I'm adjusting these cubes to like armor platings in different angles. It's the same stuff here, doing the rear of the tank, and modeling tanks is like doing this kind of stuff all the time. So let me just talk about, well, if you want to model a tank, you should know what a tank is like. You should know where the tracks is. You should know the shape of the wheels, the tracks. So you're seeing I'm doing the wheels here. So for now, I have mainly two methods to do the road wheels. First is using cylinders. Actually, I do not use the track parts in Spore. I do it purely using cylinders on windows. So and you can see though I flip the parts around, that's by pushing the tab button and then drag the circles outside the part. So that's a drive wheel using cylinders. And by pushing Alter and pull the parts, you can copy it. And the other way is to use this window. It is good that you can color it with special colors, while cylinders could only use some certain kinds of colors. You cannot have that effect on the window. But also, these two methods both have limitations. So this kind of color can make it more like a wheel, although it does not spin. Actually, the tracks do not move at all. So the drive wheels are a little bit different, using this kind of window, because you can see the teeth here. It's like gears. And by using that color, it really looks like most of the driver's wheels on tanks. And tracks, I mostly also use cubes and use special kind of color on it. And you can see, use this color and use the darkest on it. So these are the tracks. The tracks are basically placing here, and you also have something covering it, covering the tracks. You can use cylinders here. You can also use vents here. I'll tell you what the vents are later. So the tank is not, you put some tracks just outside it. It's quite complicated. You should know where to place different parts. By turrets, this is how you do the turret ring. Also a cylinder. And you pull it to the right size you want, and then you place the armor platings. to form up the turret. Or, in some cases, you should use other parts as well. This is the vents I was talking about. You can do that. You can. It has a lot of uses. So these two vents, they can be the vents of the engine, also be the access ports of the tank, or the doors of any other vehicles. This kind of vent is for the viewing port. Now I'm doing the main gun of the tank. So this is the gun mountlet. You can also use other parts. So this is a pretty easy way to model the main gun. And this is the so I'm mainly using this kind of method to model the gun here right now. You just place it in center of this window. Adjust the length. See how much length you want of the gun barrel, and flip it around to attach the second one. You put it exactly in the same place, in the center, and there's the trick. Shrink it a little bit using the mouth wheel, flip it around, pull it to the right length, and do it like this, and paint it with dark color, because you don't have tubes in Spore. Because many of the tanks, especially modern tanks, have those smoke extractors. So you're pretty much doing that like this. Notice that you could only put parts inside the circle underneath this tank, this model. As you can see. So it brings you a lot of trouble. Check it if it's vertical, and then put it here. Because it has a magnet that put it into the right angle, to vertical or horizontal. And you got a tank gun. Armor platings, put it alongside the circle, adjust it to the angle. Because it is a cube, you don't have other parts that can do the armor plating, so you must put other cubes to form up the triangular angles of the armor plating. So here is pretty much, I think it is the M1 tank's armor configuration. You have that angle of armor. So you put another one at the other end of that cube, and you put other armor platings around the turret, and then you can get a turret. So these windows can also be the access ports, ventilations of the engine, drivers, cruise ports on the turret. And this, I call it the door handle, is very useful in tank modeling, to be the guard of the lamp. Is it a lamp? I don't know. And also be the hook for towing other tanks. Many tanks have this kind of stuff on the lower places or the upper places. And the machine guns, you can use the weapons here, because cylinders cannot be shrunk to that size. And using the weapons here, the default weapons, they're thin enough to look like machine guns, and you put a cube beneath it, and you can have Cubes have a lot of functions. They can act as toolboxes too. And if you want a gas tank, you can also attach cylinders to the cube here, just like what I'm doing. And then you copy it and flip it around, and you can get yourself an external fuel tank, especially on the Soviet tanks. Okay, I don't need that anymore. And that's pretty much what I do with tanks. Basic skills. I use cheats to enable the anti-symmetry, anti-complexity. So I can't do it now. And now I'm gonna show you how to model planes. So most of the planes, their fuselage, you can use cylinders to form up their fuselage. Flip it around, and most of the planes are like this. You just adjust the angles to form the curves, figures. Don't forget, by holding the shift key and pull the main body, you can make them move together. So for wings, you can only use wings here, like this wing. The tongue wing is for old planes, and for new planes, especially fighter jets, you use these triangular wings. And by holding the tab key, you can let it sweep backwards, or you shrink it and place it back to be the stabilizers. That's the elevators, I think, and it's the same by verticals. It's the same by horizontal stabilizers. For fighter jets, the exhaust is very interesting. So you use this kind of color to simulate the exhaust of a jet aircraft with afterburners. And you paint it dark here and put a light or say a lamp to simulate the fire. Or you can also put some default engines inside these cylinders to simulate the jet exhaust. Just put it into the right place, shrink it a little bit, and here you go. It's a jet aircraft engine. And also this kind of color can help you to model some radio engines for propeller planes, like this. And you place a cylinder outside it. And this propeller is actually not that useful, but you can also use different kinds of propellers. And one thing is interesting is this one. It's only tube-like thing in Spore, but it cannot be pulled into tubes, so you can only use it in these kind of situations to model the radio engines. You can also add other cylinders to make it more realistic. Like that. So I think that's pretty much all I need to show you. See you next time.